Hi everyone, my name is Ayanna Seals, and I'm a PhD student from New York University, presenting on behalf of myself and several co-authors. Our paper is called, Are They Doing Better in the Clinic or at Home? Understanding Clinicians' Needs when Visualizing Wearable Sensor Data Used in Remote Gait Assessments for People with Multiple Sclerosis. In this work, we explored how data from remote longitudinal gait analysis of patients with MS or similar neurological conditions facilitated by wearables could be integrated effectively into clinical practice. Many individuals with MS experience gait impairments as a debilitating symptom. Early research shows that quantitative gait analysis methods might be a good addition to traditional observational qualitative analysis that take place in clinics. However, research also highlights that biomedical research often never is adopted into clinical practices, and that the average time to adoption is over a decade. Given that the data output from sensors displays accessibility issues, we explored how this data could be presented in a way that fits clinicians' needs and potentially supports new practices. Our contributions include recommendations for visualizing unfamiliar but potentially highly useful biomechanic metrics based on an analysis of interviews with clinicians. 10 clinicians working in clinical neurology, physical therapy, and other rehabilitation practices were asked questions regarding their practice and used a prototype to complete a set of tasks interacting with realistic synthetic data. Because data was most likely unfamiliar, we utilized the prototype as a design probe. For analysis, the videos were transcribed and our team followed a thematic analysis protocol to highlight comments on clinical utility, concerns, and suggested solutions. The prototype was co-designed by HCI, biomedical, neurology, and rehabilitation researchers in an iterative process that involved presentations to partnering clinical communities and interviews, both involving several iterations of prototypes based on provided feedback. In summary, these conversations highlighted the need for exploration in how clinicians might use sensor data and derived gait metrics to access key information for clinical assessment, make comparisons with baseline measures, and gain clinical insight from longitudinal and remote data. We included a heat map representing overall improvements and declines in a fictional but representative patient's gait compared to the patient's 7-day average. Dark blue represented a higher level of improvements, and dark red a higher level of declines in performance to give users an overview of recent data and inspire a search for patterns. The prototype featured other graphics such as a spider plot to compare gait parameters and box plots to examine data at a more granular level. Features for automated insights and filters to alter and save graphs were also included and presented to participants. Our data analysis led us to 5 major themes: high-level objectives with a focus on patient safety and community ambulation, establishing specific goals with sub-themes related to comparisons with normative data from healthy populations and an individual's current and potential abilities, understanding data in context, which covers topics such as understanding each patient's individual circumstances, responses to treatment, and their everyday real-life picture, collaborating with patients and colleagues, and grasping critical information quickly, covering needs for direct access to important information as well as detailed views. The outlined themes were used to formulate design recommendations. The first set of recommendations focus on reflecting the patient's narrative through integrating patient demographic and mobility information, indicating where data were generated, supporting connections to health records data, and visualizing key clinical events. Our findings suggest that clinicians would likely use this framework to make sense of quantitative gait metrics. For example, highlighting current and past interventions could assist in assessing treatment outcomes. Visually connecting gait parameters with patient and clinician-agreed goals provides the clinician with quick access to actionable information. This information can serve as a stepping stone towards more in-depth investigation of objectives, such as improving balance or endurance. Our findings also suggest utility in visualizing data to support patient-clinician interactions. This can be accomplished through using charts likely to be familiar to a broad audience and including visual cues indicating how the chart should be read. Lastly, designers should consider features that allow for the anticipation of changing circumstance. offering visual cues to highlight trends that may support clinicians in assessing the cause of changing gait. Machine learning integrations should be done transparently, providing access to how insights were generated. Thank you very much for your interest, and please feel free to reach out with any questions.